we basically just tried to get as many people in the room that would make them really nervous.
So when did you decide then that music was your thing?
For me, I think it was around university that that it became clear to me that that's really what I wanted to do. As a teenager, I spent a lot of time doing visual art, and I sort of thought of that as my main focus. And I think I've always been the type of person who just wanted to make things all the time, and I was more focused at painting and drawing and sculpture when I was a kid, and when I got to university, something just sort of switched. I think part of it was working in this really theoretical way where I sort of felt like I wanted something like more grounded, and I wanted something that had a very like where there wasn't a theory attached to it, and there wasn't a lot of you didn't need an essay to justify your work. You just needed people to dance, you know. And so that's what brought me to music, I think.
Yeah. And so then you had 3 bands in during that time, right?
Yeah, at least. Yeah, I think 3. Yeah, that makes sense. There's 3 that ever recorded anything, I think.
What happened to the other people in those bands?
Oh, I'm still friends with most of those people. The other people from my university bands. Let's see. The drummer in one of them just directed our last video. The programmer beats guy for another one is now he's like the chief technical officer for a microfunding website in the States called Donors Choose, which has raised I think somewhere near $50 million for public schools. And two of them are professors, one of philosophy and one of cultural theory, and let's see who else. One's a piano teacher in London, but I'm still friends with almost all of them.
You probably did the best out of all of them.
I'm the most involved with music, but I'm not sure that's it. I mean, you know, getting a tenured professorship at Yale is not too particularly easy either. So
it's not too shabby.
That's true.
Yeah.
So when did you get back together again as a band?
Right after we got back together right after university, basically.
Yeah, 1998.
Yeah.
How did it happen then?
I moved to Chicago, and Tim was sort of already in a band and going strong. You know, where he'd been in school in Chicago. I was trying to decide. I knew I wanted to do music, and I kind of wanted to be in New York, but it was just too expensive. Like you couldn't, at the time. It was almost unthinkable to have a band in New York because you'd have to work like 90 hours a week just to be able to afford a practice space. So Chicago was like, I had good friends in Chicago. There was a really good music scene in Chicago, and so I moved there, and we started a band 6 months later, 3 months later.
Yeah.
You already had a band there.
I already had a band there, but we were kind of coming to an end. It was like a band I had in college, and you know, I knew that Damian was coming, and we had sort of talked about starting something once he got to Chicago. So, yeah, I don't know. We started pretty soon after he moved there.
Actually, everybody else, all the other original members of OK Go had been in that band at one point.
Yeah,
so it was sort of like all in the family kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Including Andy Ross?
No. Andy Duncan, our original guitarist, was in that band, but Andy Ross he's the new boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where did you find him anyway?
He had just moved to Los Angeles when Andy Duncan quit the band, and we were all living in LA at that point, except Andy Duncan. Let's see, Andy Ross used to run a recording studio in New York with a friend of mine from college.
And I read you did auditions, or he got into audition.
Yeah.
There was a big auditioning process.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really? Or,
Yeah, I think we looked at
31
like
people.
31 different guitarists, and Andy and a woman named, do you remember her name?
I do and I don't.
Yeah. Well, we whittled it down to Andy and this other woman, actually, and we had an audition where they had to play in front of a lot of people from our label and all of our friends and other people from bands.
Yeah, we basically just tried to get as many people in the room that would make them really nervous. Like none of the people from our label had any say over it. I mean, no one had any power over the decision.
Yeah.
We just figured it would make him really nervous to get all these like big wigs in the room.
It was a really terrible thing to do to him.
It was cruel, but he passed with flying colors.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the first round of auditions was even funnier, I think, because it was like people just came over to my house and practiced in the garage with us, and there were some people who had some really interesting ideas. There was one guy, like you had to, we asked people to learn, I think 2 or 3 songs on guitar and 2 or 3 songs on keyboard because we needed someone to play both. And this one guy came in and he did pretty well at the guitar stuff, and then he set up to play the keyboard songs, and he brought out this huge pedal board and plugged the keyboard into the pedal board, and the keyboard line of the song goes do 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 do, and he just went and just sat on the ground like twiddling knobs for the like full 3.5 minutes of the song. Didn't look up the entire time, and as soon as it was done, he was like, "Okay, guys, you want to do another one?"
I was just like, we could do that again. That was great.
Like, absolutely, yes, we want to do that.
It was just
again.
fun to watch him do it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't quite what you were looking for then.
No, it would have been. I mean, it was awesome, but awesome in a way we weren't shopping for at that particular moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.